Oh yeah, here we are again. Well, it's been a long time, my friends. I was out with COVID, so that was fun. I would not recommend it. And then last week, I was just struggling to get back into the mindset and just kind of feeling normal, I guess, again, and just kind of feeling up to talking and all of that. So anyway, back now. So fun stuff, lots of changes. Seeing a lot of the narrative, quote unquote, kind of crumbling, changing. And I don't know how I feel about that or what I think about that just quite yet. Seems to me to be a little too convenient in the face of rising, I guess, not necessarily hostility being the word, but in the face of rising unrest. And as they say, and much love to the truckers in Canada. If any of y'all ever do watch this video, I mean, way to go. Don't give up. Not that this video, but anyway, there's a big protest of truckers, and man, they really stood up in Canada, and the media really downplayed it. I'm telling you, like, you don't see about it, you don't hear about it, and there's a lot going on up there, and the revolution will not be televised. So I think that's one of the big reasons we've seen the changing narrative. Oh, here I go again. It's like as soon as I get my nice warm car after working outside in the cold all day. It's just a little too convenient, I think. And like I've kind of talked about before, I feel like we've just been primed. Just we've been, what do you want to say? Programmed, maybe. We've been programmed just enough to accept that when something big happens this next time around, and it's not a novel or a unique or something new, like it's the reemergence of polio or smallpox or something like that, we're going to see a lot more people rush to have things fixed, to get vaccinated, to keep life as normal as possible. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I sure hope not. Other interesting things, Fed rate hikes. I think they scheduled 6 for the year. That's not likely going to happen. We'll probably see 3 or 4. And it's gonna be a good thing. They've talked about it before. We've seen other years where they talk about that, and as soon as they do, they kind of tone things down. But this needs to happen. The rates need to go back up, and people talk about this, and they don't understand what it means. They think it's like because it takes a college degree, minimum bachelor's, to at least understand it, and if not, then a lot of hours put in reading and understanding it and talking with people who do understand it. And I've been very interested in a lot of other prepper channels lately and a lot of other YouTubers, and it's very funny to me when people start talking about the stock market and the economy when they have no effing idea what they're talking about. And so it's just what's the quote? A fool isn't a fool until he opens his mouth, or something like that. Like, better to be thought a fool rather than prove it by opening your mouth, or whatever that quote is. And no doubt about me talking will definitely prove a lot of foolish things, and I hope to look back on many of these videos 5, 7, 10 years from now and kind of laugh at the things and the way that I was feeling here in 2022, and kind of, I guess, a video log of sorts of what 2021 was like, and just the way that I felt and a lot of people felt. I mean, I personally don't feel like there were many people who were going with the mainstream media agenda. And I think that there were a lot of paid shills or people on the internet, or hired guns, as you were, to push this narrative of, if you're not vaccinated, you're a terrible person, and you're filthy, and you're not like the rest of us, and you don't deserve to be normal in society because you're not willing to comply to make it safe for everybody. And I don't know, I did not have many of those people in my day-to-day life, and I am around a lot of people on a day-to-day basis. And I mean, I'm talking 25, 30, 50 some days. I mean, the where I'm at right now, I mean, there's easily 150 people there every day. And I'm not having conversations with all of them, but the only time that, like, anybody, I'm one of the only people who actually actively really wears a mask, and always have one on, because not just for, and it's really not even for COVID reasons, it's because of concrete dust and silica dust and particulates in the air, and just, I don't want to breathe it in. Plus it just helps when I go to the Porta-John, not breathing in that nasty air, at least not smelling it when you breathe it in. But 2021, I mean, it was just like all of these nasty people on the internet, specifically on Twitter, and then we saw Reddit ban so many people, so many subs, and there was this like bot that like moderators could put on their sub, and if you posted in this sub "no new normal," then you would automatically be banned from like mainstream subs that had nothing to do with it, like White People Twitter or Hold Up or Pics. The sub about Pics was, I mean, it is just so funny how political and how politically charged it all got, and it shouldn't have gotten politically charged at all. The very fact that there is video footage of many Democrats, and there's tweets of like many prominent like people in New York, or just like proud liberals, proud Democrats, at least by 2021 2022 standards. Who knows what the definition is when you're watching this, but they were like, I will never take Trump's vaccine. And then as soon as Biden became president and big pharma money was being funneled into the liberal and the Democratic coffers, that's when people were like, that's when they changed their tune, and they turncoated on their own morals. And so that's what killed me. I was one of the many people who, even before, as soon as it hit him, as soon as we knew about it in March of 2020, I guess, like or February or whenever we started knowing about it, I immediately knew. Like, I did not care. I knew it wasn't a partisan thing. This has been the new world order, quote unquote, right? The Klaus Schwab, the powers that be, the wealthy, I knew that this was something bigger than what we were being told. And what happened? Lab leak theory addendum, 52-page addendum added to it, saying that the lab leak theory is true. And then Fauci is accused and then found to have funded the Wuhan lab through a subsidiary, basically a shell company in so many words. The trial's on YouTube. The trial's on the internet. You can go watch Dr. Rand Paul and do all that. And I have said before, Fauci is going to be a fall guy. Fauci is the scapegoat. There is no doubt about it. Don't think for a second that he is not going to be the fall guy. I knew it when Trump was in office. I knew that he was going to be the fall guy. The only reason he's lasted a lot longer is because the color of the flag of the White House changed from red to blue, or whatever, blue to red. I don't know. I don't play crayon colors. It's checkers. And the thing is I was playing 3D chess long before. So when this coronavirus hit and when the lockdowns happened, that's when I knew this is it. This is when things get bad. There's something more going on here. And I almost lost clients because of how I felt and because of the things that I was saying on Facebook, and because I wasn't going with the narrative. And that's what bugs me, is because there's just it's like the mainstream media. Well, it's not even mainstream anymore. Well, I don't even know. I mean, is there a difference between mainstream media and legacy media? Because there might be legacy media, might be actual good media, I don't know. What are some good ones? I don't know if there are any that I can really think of off the top of my head, other than maybe Wall Street Journal ish. I mean, they lean conservative, but I don't know what was going on with them during the pandemic. But mainstream media, their job is not nonprofit. I mean, they are not doing what they do because they have good morals and ethics. Their job is to stimulate your amygdala. And what that means is your brain is engineered through years of evolution to recognize negative before positive, fight or flight, to fear, the fear response. The amygdala is what regulates, and the longer that they can keep tickling that little brain, that little organ in your brain, the brain's clitoris is what it really is, and the longer that they can sit there and stimulate that part and keep you captured, that's what they want. They want to capture you as a viewer so that they can sell more spots to their advertisers. To them, it does not matter what news they're telling you, whether or not it's true. All they care about is clickbait for their website, enough to drive a view, to maybe get you to see an ad or two, and that way they can get more and more money from their advertisers. That is their whole job. And they have a market. We have constant negative news and faux news network, Fox News and CNN. Like they are red and blue, right? Crayon colors. They have a target market. Their niche market is who they are trying to capture and sell to. That is all business. That is what business is. You have a need and you fill it. You find a niche and you fill it. And that is all it is. You can't have it all. That's one of the reasons I think that social media platforms, quote unquote, especially message board platforms like Reddit, are wildly successful, or Twitter, for instance, is because you can get all kinds of different media and stimulation all in one place. So I just think that with the narrative shifting, what's happening is going to be very interesting, because now you're going to have these people who were kind of in the middle going with the narrative of what we saw in 2020 to 2022 early, of wear your mask, get your shot, isolate if you're sick. That might change. And that might change, and that might be for the better or not. And that's the real question, is what happens if these places start turncoating. You know, it was one of the big things that stood out to me. And you know, if you're anything like me and you're watching this, then you're one of the rare few on the bell curve who lived through attention spans being turned to that of a squirrel with ADHD in society. So kudos to you for that. But one of the things that I remember early on in the pandemic, and I think it's probably still when Trump was in office, and the CDC basically, I don't know, don't quote me on who said it, but they basically said that everyone's gonna get it. It's just a matter of when and how bad, because that's what this kind of thing is. Everybody's gonna get it. It's just a matter of when and how bad. And that is what we were told. Then it changed. And now and it's changed back. It's reverted back, which is what's the most interesting. Is Fauci said, a lot of people said, the quote is out there, I have it. It was like, if you have the vaccine, you won't get sick. If you have it, you won't get sick. And they lied to us, because I got sick. My wife had the vaccine and she got sick. My 6-month-old son got it, and that was terrifying. Terrifying. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Watching them go through that, an infant go through COVID, it's terrifying. I remember a news article, clickbait headline. Didn't read it, of course. And it said, people who followed all the rules are getting sick with corona and they're embarrassed. Well, you shouldn't be, and here's why. What in the fuck? I don't understand. If they told us that everyone's gonna get it, you need to. It's like chicken pox before we had a vaccine. Remember that? We didn't have the vaccine when I was a kid. So when I got chicken pox when I was in kindergarten, they threw my little brother in the bathtub with me so he'd go ahead and get it. Because when you're younger, it's not as bad. And that's basically COVID. That's any new thing. I would imagine it makes sense anyway. The sooner you get it over with, the better off you're going to be. But no, we got to shut down the economy. We got to keep people from each other. We got to keep them indoors, out of the sunlight. It was the worst thing to ever happen to the entire human collective. Because the only people who truly needed to isolate and lock down were people who were at the most risk. The elderly, anyone with a comorbidity. That's it. But we made it so bad that people like me, who have had it twice, the first time asymptomatic, didn't even know I had it. Because I'm healthy, I take vitamin D, eat a well-rounded diet of mostly greens, plants and things from the earth, meat occasionally, well, more than occasionally, a couple times a day at least, turkey sandwich for lunch, I had chicken and sausage for breakfast, and then we had steak last night for dinner. I'm assuming we'll have meat of some sort in our dinner tonight. But it was asymptomatic the first time I got it. And I blame the leaky vaccines, right? I blame that for getting sick again, is because they rushed this stupid vaccine and they tried to get everyone to get it. And not everyone got it. Herd immunity failed. The virus mutated multiple times and started mutating faster and faster. And then I got it again recently, after a year and a half or so. I was damn mad because I went down hard this time. Whoa, man, if you had just, gotten the vaccine and, all of that, you wouldn't have gotten it as bad. Well, maybe not. Who's to say? Who is to say, my friends? Because maybe if everyone just didn't cower in fear and they actually got out of the house, got in the sun. The gym was shut down, right? Couldn't go work out. What did I do? I went to the park, because our park was not a national park. It was a county or city run park. And I went and I did yoga in the sunlight. I stretched and did yoga in the sun. Asymptomatic. So if everyone's going to get it anyway, why did they change the narrative? Why did they gaslight us? Well, if you Occam's razor that shit, it's very simple. We've got a vaccine now. Pfizer's got one. Johnson & Johnson's got one. They're going to make a lot of money. Oh shit, we're the government and we signed a big contract saying if we don't do a certain amount of vaccines, we're liable. What the fuck? Those documents leaked. So they lied to us. They lied to us to make us scared, to make us sick, to keep us isolated. You know what I think one of the biggest tragedies that came out of this? People in nursing homes and hospitals were dying alone without their family members by their side. That is the worst thing that happened out of this. Every time I think about that, my blood I just get a little warmer inside because I get angry about it. And that should not have been your family. Your family. I always loved the idea that, like, your family is communist, your extended family is socialist, and then, like, your community is something else, or, like, your neighborhood is socialist, and, like, and then everything else after that is capitalism. It's pure capitalism. Like, I don't care how sick it's gonna make me. I don't care if I'm putting my life in danger to to get sick and possibly die, if I knew that my mother or father was going to pass away, I'm going to be there. And then, yeah, after that, I'll isolate for 7 days, 14 days. I'll isolate for a month. Just let me be by my dying parents' side, if I have that ability. And I would hope that my brother would want to be there. And I would hope that there would be many people who wanted to be there. That is just not fair. If me and my brother both had the ability to be there at their side as they said their last words and breathed their last breath, but we had to choose between the two of us who got to be there, it's a travesty. It's terrible. And it's easy to get emotional about it. I know, like, there's so many times in history that people have had to go through, like, so much worse. And I'm not trying, but we could put that in perspective at another time, but just for now, when it hurts, when we live in a time when we as collective humanity have worked so hard to come so far, to innovate so much, to create so much good in the world, like, I love that Steven Pinker book, Better Angels of Our Nature, because the world is less dangerous, it's more civilized, times are the best. I mean, I can remember a time before smartphones and the internet and computers and that sort of thing, and it's like, I don't want to go back to that. I definitely wouldn't want to go back to, like, the Middle Ages or any time really before the 1900s. Gosh, I mean, that's just all the healthcare was back then, was just whiskey, laudanum, which is like a cocaine mixture, and then a saw, like, it's just amputating, and then, like, stupid shit like bloodletting. No, thank you. Well, the thing is I think that people should have been able to have their own autonomy throughout the whole pandemic. And I know we didn't know what was going to happen. And you know why such a stink was raised about it? And this is all, of course, purely conjecture. This was the one because we always had avian flu, H1N1, H5N13, mad cow disease, swine flu, all that shit. Okay? All the time. Once a year, maybe, or so. We would never have one that caught. Because maybe those were the ones that were organic. They did, or might mutate from a bird or a cow or a pig to finally be able to infect humans, affect. But they weren't that big of a deal because, well, it was kind of natural. But this one caught because the secret was known before we knew the secret, aka the lab leak theory. They sold us on a bat in a wet market, but what they really knew was that this shit came out of a lab, and this shit is bad, and we fucked up hardcore, and we really don't know what's going to happen now that this got out into the world. And that's why we went and locked down, and that's why they forced all of that upon us, because they didn't know what was going to happen once this genetically engineered virus was let loose onto the population. They done fucked up now, boy. Well, again, that's conjecture, speculation, theory. One of my other little fun ones was that it was biological war gone wrong, and Trump just really tried to downplay it because, like, there's no way we're going to war with China, especially with him on his way out. He knew that wouldn't be a good look. So it was a biological attack, and it either backfired or went wrong. I don't understand the gaslighting. I don't understand why the media, our own government, who's supposed to protect us, which I'll give you a hint, it won't, it's not. It's so big that all it is self-sustaining. It just wants to stay like it's self-serving. Not for the people anymore. Be independent. Take care of yourself. The government's not going to do jack for you when it comes time. Obviously, they're going to lie to you. I just think it's hilarious. We pulled off the Manhattan Project. Nobody knew about it. Well, it didn't get out. And it was so compartmentalized. And it was a success. And you're telling me, after it was all said and done, in what, 1943, 1944, that we just forgot how to compartmentalize, how the government forgot how to run a highly efficient program like that, how to keep it compartmentalized, how to get things done without certain sections or divisions knowing things, without having a lab of scientists research this specific thing in order to give over to this other lab over here that's told to research this specific thing. And they don't know what the ultimate outcome of whatever it is supposed to be. You're telling me that me, some dumb guy who just thought that off the top of his head, can't, like, I don't know. I mean, I get that conspiracy theories are pretty easily debunked, as they should be. If there was one, I mean, it's hard to keep a secret, I know. But you either receive the right amount of threats, or you compartmentalize it well enough so that the people doing the thing don't know what they're doing, or you do it for a certain reason. People can keep their mouth shut long enough until it's all said and done, until the dust is settled. So again, we're gonna see. I can't wait until like 10 years down the road, and we start really, really finding out about this stuff and what really, really happened. I mean, why do you think the JFK documents still haven't been declassified? But I think all of this stuff falls after the Sunshine Laws, so they aren't like grandfathered into any of that. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but the Sunshine Laws basically, like, after 7 years or whatever, they have to release that stuff to the public. Yeah, the narrative has changed, and I don't know if that is for the better. was there enough pushback? Did they finally realize that they weren't going to get away with it? Or was this merely another long-term plan to divide us over race, religion, gender, vaccinated, unvaccinated, rich, poor? Have they done it again? Have they done it again? So now, the next one will be the same thing. Anytime they want, anytime we start to unify and come together, it's like, nope. That's one of the big things about Elon Musk, for me anyway, and how he seems to be one of the ones talking out about it. You know, if there is some kind of New World Order or powers that be, or something wild going on like that, there's gonna be misdirects, and there's gonna be people like that who are planted. I mean, just like the stupid Nazi flag at the Canadian trucker rally. Dude, let me say this. Like, if there's anyone who's still like either a fucking KKK member or like a Nazi party member, okay, so let's get this one thing straight about Nazis. Your ideology is stupid. Okay? What is this bullshit about Aryans? Well, it's wrong, first of all. A true Aryan is from the Middle East, brown hair, brown eyes, okay? Look it up, dive deep, and your whole, like, ethos and your whole mythology is wrong. So, grow the fuck up, move the fuck on, and get the fuck over yourself. If Hitler had won, we would be taught in school some of the most outrageous things. And I don't have time to go into them, but I would say listen to a podcast about it. Specifically, the fact that the Nazis were obsessed with the search for the Holy Grail. Absolutely ridiculous. They believed in, like, the giants and the hollow earth and all of this crazy shit. And these people were trying to take over the world, and they were really, like, getting close in, like, a very bad way. And some of the science that they were doing that's come out since, fucking horrific. And what was the Asian unit, 350 or 120 or whatever, 126 or whatever. That shit's really horrific. Yeah, greater good in my butt. But yeah, that stuff is horrific as well. Okay, so Nazis, you're stupid. Aryans are not blonde hair and blue-eyed Vikings. Aryan can be traced back to the Middle East. And third, it's not even really a race. It's just a word. It really is just a word. So it's not even a race. So the fact that, like, Nazis are talking about cultural appropriation and all of this shit was stolen from the whites and blah, blah, blah. Well, no, it wasn't, actually. You actually culturally appropriated your whole race. You dumb shits. You dumb shits. Like, fucking Christ. Get the fuck out of here, okay? Second of all, the KKK. If there is legitimately anybody left, and there are, I mean, yeah, okay, like, I forgot, like, because they're not worth my time to think about, but yes, I forgot, like, there are actually people out there who still are, like, fucking Klan members. You are also stupid. You're ridiculously low intelligence. You have wizards and grand wizards, and you dress up, you play dress up, and you play this, like, game of, like, KK, like the podcast about the KKK, number one, horrific about what they would do, all because of like some perceived injustice. Like, it's absolutely horrifying. And if you're still that bad, like if you're still that stupid, just go ahead and remove yourself from the earth. Like, just do us all a favor. So enough of that soapbox. You know, I mean, you two Nazis, KKK members, pedophiles, rapists, and serial killers that harm innocent victims. Y'all just go ahead, do humanity as a collective whole a favor and just remove yourself from the equation. Where was I at? New World Order? Conspiracy theories? I don't even know anymore. Just let people make their own decision. If they want to isolate, let them isolate. If they don't want to go to work, help them out. Let them know that they are safe until things are good again. But if people want to work, it's like it should be treated like a disability. Except it's pandemic insurance. When you're disabled, when you have disability insurance and something happens, you receive a percentage of your regular income. I think like 60%, up to 80 maybe if you have good disability insurance. Well, why not have this? If you don't want it, don't buy it, because you know you're going to go to work anyway. The government provides X amount, so you get to sit at home, feel safe, but you're only going to get like 60% of your pay. That seems fair. That way you're at least incentivized a little bit enough to come back to work. You're not going to be making a killing or whatever, depending on what you work. And like the people who do want to work because they're not scared or they already got it or whatever can do so. There's no need to shut down the entire economy. There's no need to force so much of this on people, like not letting them be with their loved ones when they pass away. This incredible government overreaction and overreach is absolutely just sick. Absolutely sick. And I hope it never happens again. I hope we don't see something like this happen. And one of the things that really killed me, just like blew my mind, was like during World War II in Britain, when the bombers would fly over the city, everyone would, turn out their lights. So the bombers had a harder time seeing them, and if one person had their lights on, then that means, okay, really, we have aviation now. We don't bomber, like, we know the general area, and you're telling me that they're just gonna like go out and like not be able to see. I mean, if they're gonna bomb, you'd hope they were smart enough to choose a night with a full moon. I'd hope. So there's just so many holes in that logic. Maybe they did, and maybe it helped, and you get a sense of solidarity with the city, but it's really, every little thing counts. Maybe, okay, we're all in this together. Yeah, that ended real quick, didn't it? When the elites, quote unquote, the people that we put in high places, were just doing rules for thee and not for me. So just wake up, sheeple. Wake up, sheeple. Can't do it like Dan does it. just don't know. Don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. Oh, this guy's going by me. You go, vroom vroom. Drive real fast. Feel real good. I'm going a little under the speed limit, but whatever. So, what do you think? Now that I'm back, what are we looking like? The markets and the Fed. I didn't talk about that stuff. Oh my God. I am happy and excited that we're getting a little bit of interest rate increases. It's definitely going to happen in March for sure. And we might finally see this housing market come back into some semblance of how do you say equilibrium? It's not the best word, but interest rates are going to rise, but this out of control housing market is going to stabilize. If you have low interest rates, you're going to have expensive houses. You can borrow a lot more and pay a lot less a month. And so if these interest rates start going up, then hopefully housing prices will start coming down and home ownership can go up on the rise again. And I've talked about it before. The economy is made and created in such a way. That's why it also kills me when people start talking about inflation and it's so bad and it's out of control and it's the end of the world. And well, no, you just it's designed that way. There's a problem with our system, sure, but inflation it's not going down. There's not going to be deflation. There might be on paper, but in reality it's not going to happen. We've already screwed the pooch enough when you'd go and get a chicken biscuit in the early 90s. You could get an actual chicken biscuit with a big old honking chicken piece, nice and breaded and thick and juicy, and you pay $3 for it, which was a lot for the 90s. And then a couple years later, some freaking chain would come in and figured out that they could still make a lot of money if they just made the chicken smaller on those sandwiches, on those chicken biscuits, and put more breading on, and cost of goods sold, baby. It's all accounting. Yeah, we're good. It's all in the income statement. It's all on the balance sheet. Cost of goods sold, man. We're really helping out the margins here by doing this. Well, short-term benefit for long-term loss, if you ask me. Because that chicken joint, that breakfast joint or whatever, they ain't there anymore. They bought a smaller one, took it over, ran it into the ground, and they are no longer existent. So what do you think about that? So even though there's quote-unquote deflation in certain periods, and we might see something like that happen, which would be kind of good, but the thing is I get it. I get that raising the minimum wage, how it hurts the economy in the long run, because it does, but it also helps because then those people have the money to afford the things that stimulate the economy. I think that's one of the things that people don't understand is if you give poor people money, they're gonna buy things that they need. They are gonna stimulate the economy. The problem is CEO bonuses and that sort of thing. I think this is where I turn. No, this is not where I turn. I don't remember where I turn. I think that might be where I turn. The problem is CEO compensation and C-suite executive compensation. That's really the issue. First class versus coach, man, it does not stimulate the economy as much as you think. Having more people fly coach stimulates the economy a lot. That's what you want. You want more people traveling and spending things buying things in the airport. What is that? Well, after you get past security, I forget what it's called. Buying those. You want more people with more money to buy the things. This is why trickle-down economics needs to be more of a thing. If poor people don't have basic necessities like food, shelter, and clothing and food for their children, they're not going to go out and like buy the things that stimulate the economy. So raise their wages. Bro, you don't need a 3-story mansion for your wife that you never see, with your kids that you never see anymore because you're like working all the time. No, man, slow down. Fucking have 3 CEOs and a VP or 3 or CFO. Like, just fucking, you got the board of directors, bro. Like, they're gonna do most of the thinking and directing for you. You just implement, and you're gonna pay yourself all of that extra money. You're not gonna give it back to the employees. Imagine what would happen to this economy and to the state of the world if everyone started getting paid a little bit better. And all of a sudden, people wanted to work again. Because the way it is right now, it's fucking broken. There are jobs everywhere. I haven't been paying attention, but I know for a fact that there's now hiring signs just about on every restaurant door. And, you know, even if they weren't, and even if it was a regular market, if you wanted a job, all you would really have to do, now hiring, apply here Tuesday and Thursday. There's jobs everywhere, but it's broken. You know why? Because they have to attempt to hire people, but they're getting bailed out by government money to not hire people. Someone did a YouTube video on it explaining it, and it made a whole heck of a lot of sense. And it made, because like I have a friend of mine who did those business loans, like those bailout loans. It just pay people more. Like the thing is like after like COVID happened and certain people became like essential, and they realized like how important they are, they're like, well, you should pay me more. And the company was like, well, we're not gonna. And they're like, fine. The employee's like, fine, I guess I'm gonna quit. And they're like, fine. And then the company got effed. And then they were like, oh, I guess we need to pay more. So they started trying to pay a little bit more. But now they couldn't get the people back that they had working for them before, and now everything's just a little bit worse. This world that we live in is just a little bit worse. Everywhere you go, service is just not as good as it used to be. Everyone's got just a little bit more of an attitude than they used to have. because they're essential employees. Hey, you know what? Like, I was considered one of those. I don't have the sticker on my hat. I don't have the sticker on my car. I don't have the t-shirt. Because COVID was not that bad. It sucked for certain people. And I get it. And it's terrible. But it did not necessitate closing down the entire economy and making so many people who were already struggling destitute. It literally took a whole section of impoverished people and just made them homeless and made them destitute and broke them because they lost their jobs, their minimum wage jobs. It's so hard to really like wrap your head around if you didn't live it and you don't have a certain perspective on business and finance and the economy. Because a lot of people, and that's the other thing. That was the other thing. It's like, that's why a lot of people just go along with the narrative, because they are not in control of their lives. They let media outlets and TV programming just direct them through life. And, you know, that's... I guess we evolved that way for a reason, because if everyone was an independent thinker and nobody had an ability to listen to other people and take orders and work together, then we wouldn't have iPhones and computers and Amazon and Facebook and search engines on the internet and militaries, and we just wouldn't have civilization. But you got to be careful where you're getting your negative news from, because before COVID, really, I did not engage with mainstream media. I did not really know what was going on. I spent several years not looking at the news, not watching the news, only on social media to post or talk about my business. And it really wasn't until I started getting into certain podcasts that I started kind of getting back into all that stuff, or at least gaining an idea of what was going on in the world again. But like, my life was my life. I was working out all the time. I was hiking all the time. I was maybe I was playing video games. I don't know. I traveled a lot, and I was career focused. Started a company at one point. Still have that company. Still have revenue in that company, coming in from that company. Is it the first? It's the 31st. My life was no better or worse. In fact, it was better. And now it's worse, because I get stupid push notifications on my cell phone from like Yahoo and Yahoo Finance and Google. Like they put, like, I don't even know how to turn the Google ones off, because like my phone is like an Android phone and it's like Google, and I also like don't care enough to try to like go in and figure it out. But and then like Reddit, and then I got on Reddit, and then Facebook became this cesspool of like news stories being reposted, and then that documentary came out about how like they Cambridge Analytica like helped Trump win and all of that. And it's just, this world is changing now at such a rapid pace that time to like really take a step back and refresh. And I think with the Fed raising interest rates and with all of this calming down, I think this year is going to be a tough year in the market. I think it's going to be a tough year for the stock market. I think it's going to be another wild year for cryptocurrency. I don't think Bitcoin and Ethereum are ever going to be as volatile as they were in 2020 and 2021. But I think that they are still going to increase in value and go up and be worth. I think they're going to go up. And I've said before, I hope Shiba Inu becomes a thing. It's on its burn. It's getting burned. They're burning coins left and right. The value, hopefully it's like in the metaverse, there's like some kind of like mini games that you can play, and like you need tokens to play it with friends, like when you go to an arcade. And like Shiba Inu will be like the tokens, and it's like you pay me $5 for like 25 or 30 or 50 tokens. $5 for 50 tokens. And like hopefully like that would be awesome. Like if I had 50 Shiba Inu and I got $5 for it, I'm gonna be a pretty happy camper. But like it's just for pure fun. Anyway, I hope that helps open up your mind. Hope we get some conversation from it. Tell me, if you made it this far, please like and subscribe to my videos. That way you can know when I post a new one, if I ever go on a hiatus again. You like listening to me drone on about things. That would be awesome. Further, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about the market this year. This whole, just anything I talked about. Let me know. Let's chat. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm going to go and do some exercise, lower body today. And until tomorrow, if I have some good stuff to talk about, we'll chat. All right, bye.